right, guys, welcome to another edition of Victoria Events with Caleb Shaw. It is Monday, February 7th. We've got an action-packed week, so let's just jump right into this with my first guest of the day. He's a buddy of mine. You see him all over the place, but just in case you don't know who he is, my brother, if you would, please introduce yourself.
Not Brother Gary, Ashley Wallachow, Athletic Director at the University of Houston, Victoria, and also have a little side gig on the Wade and Carter Show.
Yes, sir. Well, thank you so much for coming on, man. I always like seeing you and having you around. Let's talk Jaguars. We got a debate coming up that we need to get to. But before we do, let's talk a little bit of Jaguars.
Yeah, this weekend's weather caused a lot of problems, and so we had to cancel home baseball games and an away softball game. But we're jumping right into the fall or into the spring seasons. This coming weekend, we've got home softball games on Saturday, starting at 2 against St. Thomas University out of Houston. On Sunday, we've got home baseball games starting at noon against St. Thomas as well. That's a home and home series. We'll actually be there on Saturday and play here on Sunday. But we're starting at noon so that everybody can get home, come out, watch the baseball, and get home for the Super Bowl. And then this weekend is also our big Claude Jacobs Intercollegiate Invitational Golf Tournament. We have the practice round on Saturday, and the golf tournament will be Sunday and Monday. So an action-packed weekend for UHV Jaguars athletics, and this really kicks off our big seasons. Next weekend, baseball jumps right into the heart of the conference schedule. So, we've had a couple of non-conference games. The baseball team's 1-4. Softball's trying to get going. They've scrimmaged, but they haven't played any games yet. So this weekend's going to be huge as long as the weather cooperates, which it looks right now like it will. So hopefully things will stay in place, and we're just getting busy. We've got over 150 people in town for the golf tournament.
Good Lord.
That's just players and coaches. So they're coming in from all over, which is great for the local economy and our hotels and our restaurants, because they do eat and they spend money here.
Absolutely.
We are hosting our men's golf conference golf tournament in April, but in between, we've got about 50 home baseball and softball games. So just a lot of activity in the next 2 to 3 months.
Well, that's awesome. And I have to lead with I'm guilty. Like, I live right by the college. But I didn't really know that you all had all this stuff going on. How many different this might be a long question. How many different teams, there's basketball, not basketball, there's softball, soccer, golf. What all do you guys have? 6
teams altogether.
Okay.
Men's and women's golf, baseball and softball, and men's and women's soccer. We started with baseball and softball in the spring of '08. And then when the university downward expanded and added freshmen, we added men's and women's soccer, men's and women's golf. We'd like to expand more. The biggest problem that we have are facilities.
Right.
As you know, we're landlocked. You live right beside us. You know we don't have a lot of land on campus. We do have 65 acres, and we're just in the planning stages of how we raise the money to build the facilities there that we need to take our existing sports to the next level and provide first-class facilities for what we need, and also build other facilities for new sports. So we're excited. We've got about 160 student athletes in our program.
That's awesome.
If we can add just even men's and women's basketball, if we could find the funding for a facility for that, that takes our numbers up over 200. That's a pretty significant impact on our campus in Victoria, but also in the community, because our student athletes give back thousands of hours every year back into the community with volunteering.
Right. Well, I was guilty because, like I said, I live right by the college, and one of these days I walked Truman over, and they had a soccer game going on, and I was just kind of blown away by how fast those athletes are and how slow I've become over the years. And it was, but Truman loved it. We went in there, and you can't really beat the view. You're right on the side of the game, and I'll admit I'm not the biggest fan of soccer, but that said, it flowed so fast and it went so quickly, and those guys and ladies were such stud athletes that it was enjoyable. Truman liked it, I liked it. We sat out there and we watched it. And how can people that want to be, I feel like that's something that we should be packing the stands for. We have collegiate games going on right in our backyard. How can we find these things? How can people kind of stay informed and get more active in the sports program?
Well, our website's a good place, uhvjaguars.com. Our schedules are updated there. We try to be active on social media. We're in the process of a search for a sports information person, and that search is dragged on. There's a nationwide shortage in college athletics of sports information folks and athletic trainers. Wow. So it's hurt a lot of smaller colleges, and so that search has dragged on a little bit. But they can give me a call, 485-4424. If I'm busy, I'll return the call. But it's the cheapest entertainment option in town. $5 gets you in. Kids 6 and under get in free as long as mom or dad's paying and coming with them, because we're not a babysitting service.
I tried. Yeah, they wouldn't take them.
No, but you can't spend 2 hours watching anything for $5.
Yeah,
anywhere. So it's affordable. It's family fun, and support these kids. We've got kids from all over Texas, Victoria, but all over the world as well. We've got probably a dozen different countries represented in our athletic program.
Yeah, that was one of the things that blew me away is all the different languages and accents I heard on the field. It was awesome though. So we're halfway through the time already, so I'm going to flip it.
Yep.
We've got a debate this Thursday.
We do.
It is for Victoria County Commissioners Precinct 2, Precinct 4, and then the U.S. District Congress seat, District 27. That is going to be Thursday, 6 to 8 p.m. This is going to be on Facebook and YouTube. It will be live streamed. Let's talk a little bit about that. We've got 2 of those contested races, and then we've got the congressional race. As of right now, everybody is confirmed for all the races. Congressman Michael Cloud is confirmed for the 10th. We're going to have a backup plan in case he can't make it. I don't think it's fair to have the debate if he gets called to Washington to do his job.
Yeah.
Now, if he goes out playing golf or he takes the day off, phones it in, then we'll have it without him. But that hasn't been the case so far. He's been great to deal with. Everybody's been awesome, all the campaigns. You are our moderator, though, and a lot of times people come to me and they're like, hey, well, what are you going to ask? And I defer. I said, I don't know. Ash does this. And how do you approach these debates, and kind of what's your thoughts when you're formulating your questions, and how do you make this debate stick out from others?
I think the technology and the professionalism of the production of this debate helps it stand out from others. It's well done. I think the fact that we allow interaction and rebuttals in past debates between the candidates helps make it more of a debate. We've been fairly good about, I think, of making sure that we don't go off the rails, but allowing candidates, if they've been challenged on something, to address that. And I think that helps. It's been cordial, but I think the fact that we limit time to the question, so they actually have to answer the question. They can't get all into this flowery prose and try to talk around the subject.
Right.
And I have on times, I think the last debate I did say, well, you didn't really answer that question. Could you answer the question?
Right.
So trying to keep them on the question and answering the question, I think is key, because I think that's one of the things that has turned people off of politics is the politician speak. People want answers to the questions. And if you don't get that, I think it hurts you this day and age.
Yeah, no, I agree, and it is nice to see some differences, because of course they're going to get their little 2-minute whatever introduction as always, but I like to see the interaction, and because this is the primaries and we should all be kind of in the same stadium of ideas, I think it's important to kind of flesh those out.
But how they differentiate themselves, I think, is going to be important to those who haven't made up their minds yet, or even maybe some that think they're leaning one way,
right,
but may lean another. And I think that's the importance of this debate on the 10th, is the questions. And I've got a few. I'm not going to sneak them out there. That's the other thing. I don't give the candidates the questions in advance.
Yep.
There was, Donna Brazil was guilty of that, giving questions to Hillary Clinton back a few years ago, and got fired from her job as DNC chair. That's the whole point of this, to see who can think on their feet and respond accordingly and appropriately.
Yeah, I like that we don't have a dog in the fight in the sense of trying to pick winners or losers at all, but we want to give a quality, high-produced, quality-looking, image-wise and sound-wise, show that really sets itself apart. It gives these candidates an opportunity to shine on their own, and we're just going to give them the platform to do so, and that's on them, how they perform. But
absolutely,
what I've been proud of at the end, that's a reflection of you as the moderator and Steve and everybody else, is the fact that at the end, whether they won or lost, everybody came up so far and it's been like, that was a good debate, thank you. And that's what we want, is to provide a good platform for these guys to come up and look good, and we just want to do it the best and knock it over the back fence.
Yeah. When it comes, going back to the questions, when it comes to the questions that I'm asked, or that I ask, I listen to and look and see what others are asking on social media, or what questions are important. Obviously, the border security is probably going to be big and that's the overlooming topic, but that's not all that's important to this region. And I want to get into those other things to see what our candidates think is important to District 27 and for our county commissioners as well, or those running for county commissioner, what's important to Victoria County.
I agree.
Because
man.
that's what our viewers and the people and the residents want to know. And so I'll look on their pages and see what questions they're being asked. Just in having conversations with others in the community, what's important to them. That's how my questions get formulated, and how they respond is, will tell you how well prepared they are to deal with the issues at hand.
Yes, sir. Well, we certainly do appreciate you. For those that want to find listen to you on the radio, watch the Wade and Carter Show, how can they do so?
Magic 95.9. Monday to Friday, 7 to 8 Central Time. It's interesting. We've got listeners from all over the country, all over the world. It's amazing how Facebook and the internet has just expanded that global reach. And I'm amazed that people will tune in regularly to watch the show. That's based in Victoria and very Victoria-centric in many ways. But they're in larger markets with other options, and I'm flattered and honored that they choose to watch us and listen to us for an hour. It's online, it's on Facebook, so it's easy to find, and it's just a lot of fun doing it.
Well, you guys do a great job. Thank you so much. Again, Ash from the Wade and Carter Show. Debate is Thursday, 6 to 8. Again, we will have Victoria County Commissioners Precinct 2 and 4 and Congress District 27. It will be live streamed on YouTube and Facebook for the Meet Victoria page, and we'll probably have it on the Wade and Carter page as well, if not the Bill Posey Show as well. Bill Posey does a great job. Guys, let's take a quick break, and we'll be right back with the next guest.
Since 1932, Wallach & Volk has been closing mortgages and doing it the right way. The reason why the Volks opened up a bank at the height of the Great Depression was because the bank needed to be opened at the height of the Great Depression. And it was good for the community at that time. A lot of the banks were going under. In order to keep that community sound and stable, it was something that they did. I think that says something about who Wallach & Volk was 85 years ago. And the only way you get to continue to do it is if you consistently do it great. And we plan on doing this for another 85 years.
Marketing today can be complex. Emails, customer relationship management, lead tracking, landing pages, and text messaging. But what if you could do it all with just one tool? And what if there was an agency behind the solution that could do it with you? Or better yet, do it for you? Introducing ThriveFuel 360, the new do-it-for-you digital marketing solution. Drive leads, nurture prospects, automate follow-up, connect with your audience, and book appointments all in one place. ThriveFuel 360.
Hi, I'm Bentley Kamen, and 2021 is finally over, and we're overstocked with up to 65% off on all furniture in stock, ready for immediate delivery. And you thought I was kidding? Buy today, and we'll have it in your home tonight.
All right, guys, we are back, and we've got another guest here. You know the man, and if you don't, you should. He's a good dude, Glen Dry. Thank you so much for coming on. For those, before we get into this awesome event,
yes, sir.
One more time, tell me a little bit about yourself and your group and your church and all that stuff before we get to this.
Okie dokie. Well, born and raised here, Victoria. This is my backyard. I've been married 25 years, got 3 kids. One just graduated from West High School, and now he's playing college football for Trinity in San Antonio. And I got a daughter that's going to be she's a junior, going to be a senior at West, and another girl going to Cade. And so been back in town for the last 20 years, and I started when I came back home in business. Had a financial group, and then transitioned out of that and working in the ministry full time. After I came back here a couple of years, I've been doing that for the last 15 plus years, and most folks now know over the last 8 years our ministry acquired Sun Valley Ranch. We've been redeeming that ever since. Just turned the U into an O, and hope we can just make an impact and for our community through that. And so that's kind of where we're at. I mean, where I'm at also, I never saw myself as a pastor either, Caleb. I mean, it just was not part of my plan. But about 8 or 9 years ago, I had an itch, and I started scratching it, called some friends of mine, started helping them plant a church in Granbury, Texas, and learning a lot from those guys. And they flew me out to California, and I got to hang out with some really, really great people that were planting churches. Came back to Victoria, told my pastor at the time that, hey, I think this is something I want to do. He was super encouraging and very supportive. So we went out and started a Sunday evening church to reach people who love the outdoors. And hence people may know it as Sportsman's Church, or SC also stands for Simple Church. So we try not to make things real complicated. We just had our 9th birthday, which is kind of fun, and that we're still in it. We planted another church called Branded Cowboy Church 4 years ago. Its birthday's this weekend. It's doing really well, and excited for that church and its efforts and what it's doing. And so we got another one coming in the pipeline soon, hopefully either this year or next year. Just praying about what the Lord's doing with that, and also just continue to expand our ministries. With our men, with Man-to-Man Ministries, and then also with the Family Outdoor Expo, this is going to be our 18th year.
Yes, sir. Well, congratulations on that. And one of the things I've always liked about you guys, mentioning the outdoor stuff is you've always encouraged men to be men also, and men to lead their households. And I like that you guys, you incorporate the hunting and the outdoor lifestyle and the self-sufficiency of being able to take care of your family and going out and to provide for your family, that it's okay to be a man. And in fact, you should be a man, and if you're a man, and not identify, we won't get into stuff, but
a man should be a man. That's a whole other segment, by the way.
Yeah, didn't even mean to go down that road. But on that note, so this ties into the Family Outdoor Expo, because this is something I just continuously hear about, these outdoor expos and how much fun they are, and the growth that these things get bigger every year, they get better every year, because you guys are constantly improving the property. You're constantly, working to provide more opportunity and more learning examples and things for them to do out there, and activity. That's the word I was looking for that I couldn't find. And
it's all good.
And from the hunting to the fishing to all that. So talk to me, now that I've basically said everything, talk to me about this the Outdoor Expo that I've left you nothing to talk about, if you would, sir.
Let me tell you a little bit about just the history. I was driving around Victoria. I mean, this is our backyard, right? And I was over on just driving through some neighborhoods, and I was just thinking through some things, and I was like, man. And then shortly thereafter, I think I was somewhere and I saw this little fish pond. And I came back and I talked to a friend of mine named Keith Rainwater, who at the time had Texas Tackle Factory. And he was helping with the kidfish that Speedy Stop does down on the coast. And I said, Keith, why don't we bring that here? Like, why can't we put that on concrete somewhere? Because the majority of our kids in our community will never have a fishing license, never have a hunting license. Most of them will never even go to the park. Most of them don't even know we'd have one, right? And so the idea was I want to increase awareness for outdoor lifestyle, outdoor living, just getting kids outside, outdoors, families, and making it to where they could potentially create a lifestyle, and realize, I can do this. This isn't outside of my reach.
Right.
And so, bottom line, we reached out to some folks who built us some fish ponds. We put liners in them. We put catfish in them. We rented the community center. We rented rock walls. We got some folks who had horses, and the story goes on and on. And so that was a one and done deal. It was like, this is an idea, we're out of here. And all the directors sat down afterwards for an after action, and they were like, we cannot not do this again. This is incredible. We had so much fun. And so let's see what this looks like next year. So we kept obviously doing it every year. And I have a rule, we fire everybody after the expo and say, look, we're all fired, every one of us. If you want to be back in next year, just let us know over the next few months. We're going to take a deep breath. And the awesome thing about it is that we just have an amazing amount of directors that produce these activities for the kids. And, we did at the community center for 10, 11 years, and that was fantastic. And then when we were able to acquire Sun Valley, we were able to move it out there and basically have it in green space and have our own fish ponds, and so it just really created a whole different atmosphere. By being able to move the Outdoor Expo out there. It's still the same hours. It's still Super Bowl weekend. It's going to happen. Rain, snow, sleet, shine, whatever. We're outdoor people. Come on, for crying out loud.
It's happening.
Some of us will sit at a football stadium with snow on us or ice on us. We'll go in a duck blind or we'll go fishing and the weather rains. We're okay with that. We go camping. We pray for rain, for crying out loud. We're okay with that. And so the awesome thing is next Saturday, the weather forecast, the high is 70 degrees. And sunny, and so it's just wow in the middle of February.
Yeah,
God is so good to us, and so we're gonna have it, and the gates are gonna be open 10 o'clock to 5 o'clock, and we have some new stuff. It's going to be really neat. I serve with the AgriLife team here in Victoria, and are some of those local folks, and they're going to bring an exhibit to teach children. Here's the animal, here's what it is, and here's what it looks like on your plate.
Yep.
And so they can kind of so they can realize that HEB doesn't produce eggs. You know, HEB doesn't produce meat. They don't understand. A lot of people don't. I mean, the majority of our
and there's a difference between store-bought and farm-raised
Big
and
time.
hunted. And at first we've gotten so conditioned. I can speak personally, at least for myself, is, you know, it got to initially when my wife brought home farm eggs. I wanted the white one egg from the store, and so when I was like, I don't want that gross brown egg. Like, give me, you know, I was completely backwards, and then she put them in a pan and showed me the difference and how one cooked, and I was like, that's kind of nasty that
Right.
I've so programmed to hear, and
Yep.
you know, and I remember when we would get out of school, man, you'd see bikes lined down the road. You'd see us, you know, we'd jump on, we'd go find all of our friends, and you just up and down the street, you saw kids everywhere, and we all hung out. I don't see that anymore when I get off work or when I'm driving home. I don't see kids running up and down the street, anything. So to get them outside and get them in the sun, and, you know, obesity is an epidemic right now, and we tell everybody to take vaccines and to take this, but we don't say get up off the couch and go jog and go outside and all of this. And so I like that that's your focus. Rain, shine, get out there.
We're gonna make it happen.
And from the field to your plate, you know, I'll admit I'm the soft guy that I like to get all the way up to the trigger pull, and I'm like, I'll let somebody in my family do it, because but if we were out there and we needed to eat, I'd have no problem.
Yeah, you get it done.
To do it, but I might let you just take the kill shot, because I'm a big softie, unless I actually have to do it. But it's not because I don't believe in hunting. I think hunting is essential, and now that I have a son, you know, I'm wanting to refresh all my stuff so I look like a big stud to my son, and like I can actually provide for him if it comes down to it.
Well, all
you
of a
know?
sudden it's become popular. I
Yeah,
mean,
well,
all of a
this is
sudden
true,
people
too.
who go outdoors, it's like, wow, okay, so that's what it costs in the store. Well, I can go get it in the field for less.
Yep.
And I can process
healthier.
I can process it myself, and it's completely it invented organic, for crying out loud.
this is true.
You know, and so the cool thing is too, kids can catch their first fish. I mean, the goal is that they catch their first fish.
Right.
I mean, we call it fishing for a reason, not catching. Right? That's the way.
touche.
Yeah. And so, and we also are going to have a few other exhibits. We got a mechanical bull this year, which is going to be fun. It's back. Our rock wall's back. You know, some other things are coming back. We got this thing called the meltdown that kids get on and try to not get hit by it, which is kind of fun.
Is that the over-under thing that turns?
It's the deal that goes around, and the 8 kids get on it and they try to bounce around.
I gotta see that
like
one.
popcorn, you know, and all that, and just to really enjoy it. And one thing too, when we began this, I just really wanted children and their families. Obviously, it's put on by a faith-based, you know, organization, and so at the end of the day, we built the 7 days of creation, and so a family can walk through the 7 days of creation together, and most importantly, we pray that they realize by the time they're out of there that, number one, we believe they were made by God and for His glory, and so hopefully they can smile and realize, hey, I was designed for a purpose and a plan. I wasn't an accident. You know, I didn't come from something just exploding, that there is something bigger to this, and God loves me and has a plan. And so, you know, that's built into some of the DNA of the event. But at the end of the day, you know, people say, so what about the Family Outdoor Expo, Glenn? Like, really? Like, what was your deal? And I'm like, I want kids to catch fish. At the end of the day, they learn how to pull back a bow and arrow. You know, they learn how to shoot that. They realize, I can do this. Kids have gotten involved in 4-H because they saw this and they met somebody in the 4-H archery world, or they can learn pellet gun safety at our pellet gun range. And the Turner's been, it moves down the road to where we even know families who've got involved after the fact and made some connections there. And so that's really some of my main emphasis is, can we help a family take the next step? And for a child like you and I, because there's always going to be somebody come along that wants to poop on your parade. I don't care how it works.
Always,
You know, and so you need other people in your life to come alongside you and say, you know what, you can overcome this. You can take this next step. I know it may feel challenging to you right now because you don't have equipment or you don't have the resources to do it. You know what, we can figure that out. Like, we can help you take that step and hopefully, you know, get involved and meet some great families along the way in other areas. Or heck, they meet people who are serving from other churches in our area, and they start asking questions, and they say, hey, why don't you come to my church on Sunday, you know, and come visit with us. And the next thing you know, they're plugged in, connected, they have community, and they have people that they can lean on whenever the phone rings or whenever it hits the fan, whatever it may be. And so that's because we've seen that. We literally have stories year after year doing this for 18 years of how it's really, and I know it's just a one-day gig, 10 to 5, but
it has a lasting reach on it
so
and a
much
ripple
more.
effect. Yes,
yeah,
sir.
I mean, it's so much more than that. I mean, we've had years literally where we have almost 500 volunteers. I mean, that's crazy to me.
That's
even
awesome.
to think about it, and we scaled it to where there's not as many people attending because we know that, actually, I know that may sound awkward. I mean, there were years at the community center where we had like 10,000 people. And I'm like, I've even walking in some spaces going, oh my goodness gracious, there's a lot of humans, right? Well, the beauty thing about that, we have so much green space now. We could spread out. We could spread out like we've never been able to out at the ranch. And it makes it so much better. The only thing we haven't done the last couple of years that we did is we had a shuttle from West High School to the ranch. And we're not able to do that this year or last couple of years, and so realizing that the parking lots fill up by about 11:30. Gates open at 10, but the cool thing about it is 2 or 3 hours, and you almost can touch everything out there, or most of the activities, and what we found is that a lot of people just love hanging out.
Yeah.
And they see some people they haven't seen for a long time, and they just relax, enjoy it, take a deep breath, and realize, hey, you know what, everything's going to be okay. With all the chaos going on out around us and the noise, it can bring some calm.
Well, that's me. I like to hang out, and I shuttled right past our time for this for this segment. And so, on that note, very quickly, how can they find the Family Outdoor Expo, and how can they, if they have questions or they want to volunteer or help or come, how can they find it real quick?
Well, if they can go to our website, familyoutdoorexpo.org. They can search on Facebook if they're on social media, Family Outdoor Expo. There's a page, there's an event for it. They can even call our office, 361-572-9604. And they can just leave a voicemail with our answering service, and we'll get back to them as soon as we can.
Sounds good. Thank you so much for all you do. I appreciate you. Guys, let's go to our final break, and we'll be back with our last guest.
It's no secret that Americans are always connected to their devices. Phones, tablets, and connected TV devices like Roku, Fire TV, and Apple TV. Reaching consumers through video has never been more complicated. That's why there's now ThriveFuel EveryScreen. With EveryScreen, you can reach the right audience on every device at the right time. Target physical addresses using GPS data to serve video ads at scale and with precision. Bring the science of behavioral and demographic targeting to your video campaigns. EveryScreen combines OTT, CTV, internet pre-roll, and social video all in one place. Make the most of your video marketing strategy with ThriveFuel EveryScreen. Available now.
All right, guys, we are back with our final guest. She is a friend of mine. I know her in the real estate world. She does an amazing job. If you're not buying with Shaw Realty, go with them. They're great. We love working with them. But that's not why she's here today. And so, if you would, introduce yourself and let them know why you are here today.
Okay, my name is Sarah Rowlands, and I am the pageant director of the Queen Victoria Pageant for the Victoria Livestock Show.
Outstanding. And the Victoria Livestock Show, that's a big deal here. This is one of our big events that we do. And it is broken down of a lot of little events inside of that just go across the board of different things to do.
Yes.
And you are in charge of one of these things that we're going to discuss today.
Yes, so I am, like I said, the director of the Queen Victoria Pageant. There's going to be probably close to 35 contestants this year. All of the contestants work up to actually pageant night. So some of the things that they do, they will have an interview with a panel of 3 judges. They're judged on, their ability to speak, their attire, their appearance. And so what happens is, they'll have the interview, 5 minutes. conversation with the judges, and then on pageant night, they're judged on an introduction, Western wear, formal wear, modeling, final question, and they accumulate a score, and at the end, of course, they crown the winners.
Yes, ma'am. Well, I was a judge one time a couple years ago for the Nueces County Livestock Pageant show, and so I got to be the judge during those interviews, and this was Nueces County, but I will tell you this, I was blown away by just how awesome these kids were, these young ladies were. You could tell they had put in the work, but what was even cooler to me was what it was preparing them for afterwards. Because
Yes.
right now, as I'm sure you see this in the business world all the time, you'll call a business or you'll call us there and they answer the phone, you're like, hey, how you doing? And there's just silence. Do you need something? I don't, and customer service, speaking in front of a crowd,
yes.
going in confident to an interview. A lot of these things are a forgotten art, I would say, or something where people just don't have that confidence and they never build upon it. And so, they become young adults and older adults that may not have ever grasped these skills. And
Yes.
so I was just blown away by how professional they were when
Very
they
much
walked
so.
in. Hello, sir, how are you doing? And they gave answers that I felt were equivalent to like somebody at a collegiate level. And it just blew me away. But like I said, it was what came next, or what it prepared them for next outside of that competition, that it was awesome to me.
That is so true. It's more than just competing in a pageant.
Right.
These young kids learn the abilities, like I said, to get in front of people and talk in front of a crowd, and confidence. And, whenever seniors, we do give scholarships, by the way. So whenever, they go through college and they have their first job interview, they are steps ahead of somebody who hasn't been able to compete in a pageant before, because they take these qualities and they apply them to life after I guess an adult.
Yeah, well, because I told them no when they
adult.
called me. I told them no at first. Miss Pilat called me. She was one of my teachers from high school, and she said, Caleb, I think you'd be a great judge and all this. And I said, I don't know a thing about a beauty contest. Like, it's the last thing I need to be doing is judging some beauty pageant contest. And like, no, wrong guy, call somebody else. And she said, that's not what you're judging. She said, it's these interviews. She goes, I want you to gauge the skill and the work that they put into this. And I went down there hesitantly, and I was doing this for Mrs. Pilat because she was always good to me, and so, but again, I was just blown away. And afterwards I went up and I was like, wow, like this is such a good thing for these young adults and these students to put through. And that's not even, you have the pageant, but that's just one of tons of events for this livestock show.
Yes, so we have the parade. The parade is coming up on February the 12th downtown. So Victoria, make sure that you're definitely down there.
Yep.
Actually, the pageant, the contestants will all have their own entry in the parade. It makes them feel special, puts them in the limelight. Like I said, builds a lot of confidence for these young kids. So we have the parade. There's a pony show. There's wiener dog races. There's a mutton busting. These are all just small events that lead up to the stock show. All of the livestock show exhibitors work hard all year round getting their animals ready to show. It's not an easy job.
No,
and it's a
super
full-time
hard.
job.
And in fact, I was always in high school. I'm the guy that, like, even now as an adult, I can't foster dogs because I love them too much. And I foster and I keep, and I don't ever end up giving them back. And I was really excited as a youth to do the livestock show because I love animals, and I was like, this is perfect. And then I realized that me personally, I was way too soft for it. What do you mean I have to give up my animal at the end of the year? No, I'm not going to make a mistake and spend however many weeks. I wasn't built that way, but I understand the lessons and what it takes, the responsibility of keeping it. Because my brother did, and he had to go out there every day and walk that pig, and every day and feed that pig. And there was days where he didn't want to, where the weather was terrible.
Like today.
And it sucked outside, and that's the last thing you want to do. But those animals still need to be fed.
Yes.
That animal still needs to be walked. That responsibility is still there regardless. And,
That's right.
So many people focus in on just the winning aspect of it, well, the winning aspect comes from the lessons learned and the responsibility that you endure. And also, I would just say of understanding livestock and food and how that ends up on your table and the different things. And so it's one of those deals where I wasn't necessarily built for certain parts of it, but at 30,000 feet, I think it's just an incredible thing.
It is. It really is. You know, cold weather, you've got a third grader out there feeding his animals. My kids, rain, sleet, or snow, they're out there morning and night feeding twice a day, exercising. And it's just it's a good experience. It's good for kids.
Well, it relates
to
to what that's what mom does. She gets up and she goes and earns a living and she provides. And there's days like today when you don't want to be doing it. The weather sucks and it's cold, and I'd much rather be on the couch by the fireplace watching something on TV.
Yes.
But we get up and we go to work. And you know, and again, the livestock show what the kids put in the work. They do these things, and then so does the community. You know, like you're wearing one hat, you got the pageant thing, but there's all these, you know, I've talked to other people that do it, and it's really a joint venture across so many different spectrums of everybody uniting under a common banner and accomplishing something for our community.
So actually, all of the chairmen for the Victoria Livestock Show, they're volunteer roles. Every adult out there is doing it for the kids.
Wow.
You know, nobody's getting paid, and it's not a you just show up the day of. You know, you work year round. The chairmen of the stock show work year round to prepare for the stock show each year, and they're all volunteers.
That's just awesome. How can they find this information for the people that may not know a ton about it and they want to tune in and see what's available or check out some of these events? How can they do so?
Victoria, you can go to www.victorialivestockshow.com. The schedule's on there for the entire stock show. The parade's going to be kicking off on February the 12th. The pageant is February the 19th. You can purchase tickets at the door for $6. Come out and support the youth because it's you know, they work year round, and it's hard work, and we just want it to pay off for them.
Yes, ma'am. Well, you're well on your way, and good job with that. I didn't tell you I was going to do this, but for those that, like I said, if they decide not to use Shaw Realty here, and they want to reach out to you and they need some help in this crazy real estate world that we're living in right now and all that, how can they get in touch with you?
So I'm a part of the Zappalac group at Caldwell Banker, and well, of course, Facebook is always a good source, but my cell phone's 361-648-8131, and I'm definitely passionate about real estate and helping people.
Now, you guys do a great job. The Zappalac group is top notch, and y'all are buddies of mine, and my company always enjoys working with your company, and you guys do do a great job of setting the bar, and we've always, you know, before we went on air, I was bragging about you guys and how awesome Jimmy and you all do, and so again, thanks for who you guys are and with the livestock show, and then also in the real estate world, it makes it a lot easier to do our job when we have good people sitting on the other side of the table. And, you know, we always get the rap of tear each other to shreds, and there's a lot of growth in our business.
We're all on the same team,
but it doesn't have to be, and you guys have always helped us not go to war.
We all want the same thing.
Absolutely, and you guys do a great job. And so
do y'all.
Thank you so much. Guys, thank you for tuning in. I got a little long on today's show, but we had some amazing guests. Make sure you check out our sponsors, tune into them, tell them thank you, and we will see you guys at the next one. Thanks so much for tuning in to Victoria Events with Caleb Shaw. Make sure you comment down below, like the post, share the post. It really helps the algorithms. If you haven't done so already, make sure you follow our page. If you're watching on YouTube, subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss any episodes. And if you have an event coming on you want featured on Victoria Events, shoot us a message. We'd love to help you get the word out there. Lastly, make sure you support our sponsors. We could not do this show without them, so we're very grateful. Thanks so much, Victoria, and we'll see you at the next one.